Good evening and welcome to Going for Two. This is the only YouTube podcast in human recorded history to feature a male and female host drinking our way through the important topics of the day as long as they touch the football world and not in that way, even though it often does. From coming live to us from a special secret Chicago location is one Sharona Sports, and that's your legal name. How are you
That's
doing?
it.
And is
That
there
is
a
my given
special
name.
beer tonight? Do you have a hotel beer?
There is a special beer. I guess it is a kind of a hotel beer because the little Italian joint that services this hotel serves this beer. It's a local beer. It's a Chicago beer. It's from Revolution Brewery. It's called The Revolution is a Little Crazy. I'm drinking this in honor of Prince, who, if you'll recall from last week, Sharona found out like literally 10 seconds before we went on air that Prince had died, and I'm still not over that. I'm not. I'm not over it. Life is never going to be the same. Prince really died, you guys. I'm still verklempt about it. I just can't do it. Anyway, but yes, it's a nice beer. It's a little hoppy. It's very good.
Well, I just finished a
Oh, by the way,
Nuglin.
shout out to George Roto Hack for all
Right.
the beer recs. Appreciate it.
Yeah, Twitter, football Twitter, and Chicago Twitter are combining. That's my favorite. Now, people do talk bad about Twitter, and we're going to get into that in a little bit. But one thing that's good about Twitter, and I explained to my wife we're eating dinner tonight, I'm like, I put on Twitter, where can Sharona find Dragon's Milk in Chicago? And then I believe it was, I can't remember the guy on Twitter, basically showed a map of where she could find them in downtown
Yeah.
Chicago, like where the bars were or where the bottle shops were. Was NFL, I think, W-A-Z. Okay, but before we start on the serious stuff, in honor of the show premiering, I have a Game of Thrones beer. I believe this is the third beer,
La la la
Three-Eyed
la la
Raven,
la la la
which I
la
haven't
la.
had yet. I will only spoil the beer, not the show.
Okay.
But there was an episode of the show we did a few weeks ago where I took the cage off the caging cork of the beer, and the thing popped on its own.
Okay,
So this
we'll see
time I'm
this.
going to just do it right now, live on air.
Oh. Woo!
And I have opened one with my teeth, but I don't recommend it.
Toga.
Let's see. There we go.
Ah,
That's just a
listen to that.
satisfying sound. Now, this is a dark saison, and I have no idea what that's going to taste like, but I just had a dark sour, and that's a weird style. So I'm all about the weird styles. I'm no CD Carter. You missed out, and maybe we'll talk about this in the brewery part, but the whole hashtag beer mock that's been going on has been a lot of fun. Because I insisted that CD Carter
It's a
be
lovely looking
invited.
beer.
Because I knew that CD Carter would pick Miller beers in his selections. But the other 31 people.
Is that a new Game of Thrones glass I see you drinking out of?
No, this is Wild Heaven. This is a local brewery.
Oh,
I
okay.
have seen them in stores. I need to reload since I broke my other one. But
Okay.
let's see. I mean, really, I had another beer earlier. I was like, I don't know if I'm going to like this. It's pretty good. It's got a little bitterness to it, but it's got the dark that I like in a beer. What can I say? But damn, it's kind of late to do this, but I don't do this often enough, and we should. We have great guests on this show. Matt Harmon was on last week. He's been great. He does the kind of interviews I used to do, except he focuses on the journey that writers take to actually sometimes make a living, sometimes not. And, I would just do these interviews mainly so I could ask people, who do I start? But he did answer the sex or football question, which I haven't asked in way too long, so I'm glad that came out. And I'm glad he's on our side. I hope he enjoys draft weekend. And I'm sorry that I included him on a comment I made about beer that had peanut butter in it, because he's just not a peanut butter guy. It's just not him.
It's not. It's the only bad thing that I can find about Matt.
I know, except the fact that we didn't see
I
his
would
glorious
die
locks.
with peanut butter. Literally, I eat peanut butter, not every day, but mostly every day. I think I would die without it. I would certainly not eat as much.
I'm pretty sure
I
from
eat it a lot.
4th grade until maybe age 24, I ate at least 5 peanut butter sandwiches a week. So yeah, I don't know if I was at one of those newfangled schools where they ban peanuts, I think I would die because I would not eat any other. Sorry. You like to, edit out the burps or the coughs if you can, because I'm doing both tonight. Because I'm still slightly that cough thing. But
Oh.
I figure let's get into this. Let's do it. We have serious topics because we're serious people who still drink. So this is a premature, because we haven't done this segment in a couple weeks because we've had interviews. The over it or nah section. So
Yes.
over it or nah, talking about Clay Travis's reaction to anything about anything ever again.
Clay Travis needs to have every single seat in the damn world. The reason why, and Zach knows this, that I don't particularly like talking about him or enjoy talking about him, and it's because I have hopes beyond hope that if we ignore his ignorant ass, he will go away.
Well, this is a not quite a topic, but it's like a Twitter thing where you will like unfollow someone or block them or just not pay attention to them anymore, and it doesn't matter. Like too many people talk about them anyway. Like when people were talking about what's that guy at ESPN who's leaving to go to Fox, Skip Bayless.
Latest?
Like I never followed Skip Bayless, but I didn't have to because anytime he tweeted, somebody would retweet it because he said dumb stuff like Johnny Manziel should be the #1 draft pick. But you reach a certain point, like we become popular, where you're like, oh, I have to say things that either piss off a lot of people, hi Clay Travis, or I have to say things that are most likely going to turn out to be dumb, but on the 1% chance they turn out to be good, I'm like a genius. So I think that's a lot of what happens when you become a well-known like ESPN or Fox person, that this happens. But what we were talking about was the video that came out, I believe it was yesterday. I posted it yesterday to Twitter and got the most reaction to anything I've posted in a long time. The hashtag more than mean video.
Yeah.
And I don't know, Sharona, if you wanted to talk about
Sure.
that video and maybe kind of how you came across it, if it was through me, since you're ignoring Twitter right now, or if you came another way.
Well, I'm ignoring Twitter because of the things that video highlights. First of all, thank you, Zach, for sending it to me because I might have missed it. Though I don't know, I would because of the draft and everything, and I'm in Chicago, I'm more active on social media than I have been in a while. But yeah, and then it's not just women who cover sports; it's women in general. Any woman who has a significant social media um, interaction level experiences it, but it's particularly it happens particularly regularly, I would say, to to women who do cover sports. I bet women who cover politics get it too, though. Any woman with an opinion who voices said opinion out there, and I'm not a big Facebooker, so I can't speak to Facebook, but I can speak to Twitter. And any woman with an opinion who voices said opinion in the Twitter sphere gets harassment that is directed toward her gender, which is different from the harassment that, and there are keyboard heroes out there who harass everyone, but the harassment that is directed toward women is different. It's very different, and that video was very powerful. Sat down and watched it before the show so that I would know, although I had a pretty good clue, the cunt word, the C word is a particularly popular one. If you cover sports, if you're a woman who covers sports, that gets directed at you a lot. I got called the C word a lot over my Tom Brady, Deflategate stuff.
Oh gosh, yeah, that even became news, but we'll get that in a little bit. Yeah, the whole format of the video, for the 7 people who haven't seen it, is 2 female sports writers, and then kind of random guys that they picked up who had not seen the comments before, reading them to the women. Who the women had seen them before, and even if they had certain comments that were made, we still got a reaction. And you could tell when the guys were reading them, it was like there was like the kind of the nervous laughter, and then there was the "I'm sorry" reaction because, and one said "I'm sorry for humanity," which is kind of how I feel about the whole situation. And
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you like the way it was presented, the video itself?
Well, I mean,
Obviously, the
I don't know. I
subject
mean,
matter hits a tough spot, but I don't know if
that's a good
you liked it.
question. Do I like the manner in which it was? I don't know that there's any good way to present that kind of subject matter. So, sure, yeah. I mean, I don't really have any issues, with how it was presented. I suppose I am a little surprised that I don't know where these guys came from, or what rock they've been living under, and how they've managed to miss all the crap that women get on social media. But um, I'm sorry that your your information level has not improved, but at least expanded.
Well,
I mean,
maybe this.
go into the mentions of any woman who has a significant social media presence and see what she gets.
Yeah, it's a lot of you're valued based on your looks, and then if you say something controversial, then
Oh,
it
I
goes
have to tell you
badly.
guys a story. I mean, listen, I have to tell you guys a story. So I'm in Chicago covering the NFL draft, and I'm staying in downtown Chicago,
I hear you're
and
doing that.
I hear that
Can you show
it's,
your credentials and do a self? No, I'm just kidding.
no, but well, actually, I don't have my credentials because when I went to pick them up today and sign for them, it said bad photo. And I was like, well, I'm not very photogenic. I'm very sorry. And he was like, no, 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 no. The photo that they submitted, but apparently was bad. So he gave me his name and his email and everything. And so I sent him some more photos. And I'm supposed to pick my actual real credential up tomorrow. But anyway, that's neither here. So I'm walking to the Place 60 event, and there are a lot of little panhandlers down here. And I feel bad for them because it is cold and raining and whoa. So anyway, so I'm walking to this event, and it's not that far from where I am. And so I passed by the same panhandler twice because to and from. And both times, I got the hey pretty lady, I like your hair, I like your hair. I'm like, okay,
You made friends. That's good.
thank you. My hair's a big hit in Draft Town.
Hashtag Draft Town.
Who knew?
Yeah,
So anyway,
I just thought when it came to that video, I was wondering if because the guys were anonymous and the camera was on them most of the time, that it did focus on the guys, but because the women knew what was going to be said, I don't know how many times you could show them reacting
yeah.
to
I
the
mean, I think,
comment
yeah, I
because
mean,
the
I think
reactions
that's a
were
good way
good.
to do it. Or, I mean, I don't know what Julie and Sarah, by the way, shout out to both of them, strong women who, um, have to go through that and still continue to do what they do and do a great job at it. But I think that if I had been producing it, of course, again, and I don't have any interaction really. I follow, I follow both of them. I follow Sarah. I know. Anyway, I think that I might have had them read it and focus more on them instead of the guy's reaction. But maybe it's better to do it that way because maybe guys relate to other guys and they can see how other guys react to that. So it's, I mean, either way, but I think that it's a powerful message. I do.
Yeah, I think whatever the method was, it was good to get out there. I was gonna say, on the night before the draft, and everybody's got draft picks in their head. I decided to go with a light topic to start out. But I do. Oh, by the way, hi Don. Apparently, you've listened to the last couple episodes. Like, I didn't mention him, my friend Don, and like, we came to his house. He's like, "Why didn't you mention me?" And then I saw him recently. I was like,
Hi,
"Don, I
Don.
mentioned you like right away." And he's like, "I didn't see it yet." I'm like, "You bastard!" So just can't win it in the way of fandom. The one fan I have in the show. I don't care. Targo
Hi,
Sharona's
Don.
gift. But I will say, in regards to the video, like I was really warmed that most of the comments coming back to me after I tweeted this were positive. There were a couple of negative ones, but I have the magic white straight guy powers, which means I'm immune to being threatened and nobody wants to hate fuck me. I wanted to see what it felt like to say that. Yeah, it was kind of fun. Nobody.
Nobody.
I did get into a back and forth with his entity of none. I know he has a name, and I feel like I've heard it before. I think he does a show of some kind, but his powers of cynicism make him into a potential Avenger of the future. But he was just saying that he thought the video wasn't going to do anything because the people who make those comments were either not going to watch the video or they were going to say, "Yeah, I said that," and they will actually laugh. I was
Yeah.
like, maybe that's true. Maybe there's a
I mean, I think
certain segment of the
that's kind of,
population
yeah.
who feels that way. And I'm sorry, I'm talking over you. Please.
No. I think I'm talking over you. I'm sorry, my nose is still running from all this cold stuff. Um,
Beer is good. Have that.
I think,
It'll hear you.
yeah, this is actually a really good beer. I'm gonna maybe go get another one. Um, I think the thought process, I'm extrapolating here, and obviously I don't have any personal information, but I think the thought process is that there's no shame like this, peer pressure. There's no shame like the shame from your peer group. And that if more men became aware of what's going on, that they will also, because it's largely been women who've been trying to highlight this, and that if maybe more men became aware of, then they might help police the issue. Because like if your best friend is doing this, maybe he's not a good dude. Maybe you should say, dude, what the fuck are you doing? And on a personal note, I mean, I used to laugh when I saw Vol Twitter, go after a national sports writer or whatever. And, you laugh until it happens to you. And then, I'd write a fairly innocuous series of articles about Peyton Manning and the Title IX lawsuit. And, they come after me, and it's like, well, maybe I should have said, these people are awful and you shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah, sometimes when you get a reaction like that, you may think like that's because you said something incorrectly or you had the facts wrong. But there's just anger. I mean, it's not. I mean, I don't think you went that hard after either Brady or Manning, but people just have this with sports. It's like, don't
Yeah,
go there. You're not allowed to. Don't
it's
fuck with
like
sports. Talk about anything else, and that's okay. But sports, you can't mess with it.
I don't
And
know.
come on, it's
I don't know what
avoid.
makes, and it's largely a guy thing, and I don't know what it is that makes guys live through the accomplishments of another guy. And it's like there's so many guys out there that legitimately live through the accomplishments of Tom Brady and Peyton Manning. And if you challenge their carefully crafted public image in any shape, form, or fashion, they take it as a personal affront. What kind of sad world do you live in? I'm sorry for you. But there is a lot of hate in this world. I don't know where that hate's, and it's not isolated to sports. And I don't know where it's all coming from, but it's led to some scary things happening in politics. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit of cognitive dissonance, but to expect that like every single person who sent a hateful internet message to first of all get this video and then see it and then immediately to go, oh, my bad, and like apologize, and we're, you know, all dancing together in a circle with flowers and
Yeah.
stuff. That's not going to happen. But I feel like this has the potential to at least allow some people who know somebody who've made a comment like this or said something like this at a sports bar or, you know, in passing and go, don't do that. And just a little bit to allow somebody who's about to type that message, maybe to have a little pause before they respond, or maybe edit it. Because I know, like, my brief Bleacher Report career, I had some negative comments come to me, and they were totally about what I had written, not about me as a person. Because I have a penis and a magical.
You mean you weren't told that, you know, you hoped you got raped or raped again or whatever?
Yeah, that part. Like, the fact that someone will admit this thing that happened to them, like this potentially like most traumatic thing that's happened in their lives, and then someone to make like a joke of it and do the I hope your bills. It's just like it does not compute. But you get the negative comments and you'd respond, but then I'd be like, well, let me tone this down. Let me tone this down more. But I want to respond, but at the same time, it's hard. I mean, it's like as someone who works in email, I hate to communicate through email because I know it can be misinterpreted. And you know that internet comments could possibly be misinterpreted, and things I say on Twitter, I have 78,000 Twitters and tweets, and Sharona has twice as many because I can't keep up.
My numbers, I mean,
You tweet in your sleep, woman.
my average has dropped lately, but she's back.
I know you can't get rid of it, but
Well, I was just busy. I was so busy, and so I just
but
didn't have time.
shouldn't we do what everybody else does and do a mock draft or talk about the draft or what are you going to be doing like tomorrow and this weekend in regard to the NFL draft? Since you are in the Power Center, you were in Chicago.
Well, there's some more Play 60 stuff tomorrow that will probably. I've got an article that I've got to do from today to get filed, and there's some more Play 60 tomorrow, and then there's the first round is tomorrow night, and then and I'll be there for that and do some stuff for that, and then excuse me, Friday night is rounds 2 and 3, and I'll be there for that, and then I'm leaving Saturday morning. I'm checking out leaving Saturday morning, so I won't be doing rounds 4 through 7. Which is actually last year it was like even in a different location. It was on a field. It was you can even find it. It was hard to find, and so anyway, it's a lot of work. You know, I mean, it's cool. The Play 60 stuff really is. I posted some videos and stuff from that. It really is cool. You get to see the guys interact with these kids, and the kids are all excited, and you know, and it's a chance to get to see them kind of up close and personal, and it seems like a good group of guys this year.
So does it involve current NFL players and like draft prospects?
Now Friday night is the Hall of Fame night. There's some former players that are going to be here for that, and so I'm sure I'll be doing something with that. And the red carpet is Friday night, which I won't be doing. I'm really not photogenic enough to do that. So so yeah, there's
You're photogenic as shit. Come on.
whatever. So, so yeah, there's a lot of stuff. You know, there's always a lot of stuff like that. There's not a significant amount of former players that come to this event. Believe it or not, there more. You will see more former players at like Canton, which I should be doing again this year.
Well, don't they do? Is it the second round where they have like a former player from each team kind of
Used
announce the
to. I'm
pick?
sure they'll be doing that again this year, but I haven't seen anything about it.
I just was trying to remember, like, because there was one year I covered the draft for Bleacher Report, and I was stuck on my chair all weekend, and Sunday was especially tough. And that was the year the Titans traded up for Justin Hunter. So, like, you know, you're preparing to write a story about who they take, but when they trade up, then all of a sudden you have to go frantic and crazy. And
Yeah.
it's the whole concept that most likely when training camp starts, Justin Hunter, who was drafted like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, was going to be like fourth in the depth chart at best.
He may not make the team. He
Says a lot about the team.
It would not surprise me if the Titans, and we talked about this last week with Matt, I think the Titans will draft a wide receiver. I do.
Well, it was Thomas Gower, our guest, who said he retired from writing about the Titans, but he could not help himself, and he posted a blog about the Titans' needs for the draft. And even though the Titans have 6 picks in the first 3 rounds, they have more needs than they have picks in those rounds.
Really do.
It's like quarterback, not really. Running back, not really. Everything else, yeah, pretty much. Maybe not guard or center, but other than that, they need a cornerback, they need a safety, they need linebackers, they need defensive linemen, they need receivers, they need tackles, they need maybe a running back because who knows if DeMarco Murray is toast and the rest of the guys kind of suck and we still have your man Dexter
Yeah,
McCluster.
I started to say I think, running back's a position, they're not really set anywhere. And, quarterback, did we see what Zach Mettenberger is capable of last year? If so, I don't know.
Well, I've been trying to kind of just put this out a little bit, but I wouldn't mind if they took Vernon Adams just because he played in the Oregon system. And I think he's getting some love from Mr. Matt Waldman of the RSP.
Oh, well, there you go.
And by the way, last year, Matt Waldman had Mariota as the 3rd best quarterback. He liked that guy at UCLA who dropped to the 4th round. It was kind of neck and neck. But I think he graded Vernon Adams maybe as his 3rd quarterback. So Vernon Adams has a little bit of that Russell Wilson stature, like he's a short guy. So he might be in trouble. But he did transfer and play his 5th year. And people do over-focus on age because it's like Carson Wentz was like a 5th-year senior and Vernon Adams is a 5th-year senior. As a quarterback, it's like, no, if you go in the NFL, you got to be Laquan Treadwell. You got to be not old enough to drink when you get drafted, or else you do not count.
Well,
dynasty.
Brandon Weeden and who was the guy? Yeah. Who's the other guy?
Y'all.
Chris Winkie, yeah. You get burned that. Of course,
the windows are narrow.
The Browns are so dumb.
But do you have, I don't know, do you have a feel for who you think the Titans will take if they stay at 15?
They've got, as Tom Gower, pointed out, they've got a lot of needs and it's a good place to be. And that is a really good draft position for them. And I'm just hoping they won't get too cute like Rustin Webster tried to do and play around with their draft. They need to sit, and I've said this before, you guys, the successful teams, generally speaking, let the draft come to them. They sit and let the draft come to them. And, if there's not a guy coming that they really like, they'll trade. The Patriots are a great example of this. And I'm hoping, John Robinson has that in him, that Patriots pedigree, and I'm hoping that the Titans will do that. Floyd Reese was pretty good about that. And so 15 is a good place for them to be. If they sit there and let, the draft fall to them, they'll get a good player. They'll get a guy who probably should have gone a lot sooner. I heard, this is just stuff that you hear as you're walking around taking pictures and whatever. I heard more than one person say that Goff was going number 1.
Yeah, I was hearing that Adam Schefter, one of those guys, was going to announce that Goff was the guy. Like when the Rams first traded up, the news sounded like Wentz was the guy, but then like a week later it became Goff, and it sounds like Goff's the guy. Like when the Eagles traded up, people were like, well, they'll take one of the 2 quarterbacks. And like they know who's going to be taken there.
Yeah.
And they just made poor Sam Bradford $1 million per touchdown guy all have a little hissy fit. But we know the history of quarterbacks. You watch, even the 1-2 guys don't make it all the time. So it's like if you can't compete in the NFL, then I mean, it is weird for the Eagles to pay so much money on quarterback, but they basically are hitting the redo button. You know, when you're having a really bad Madden game, you hit the redo button.
Yeah.
Let me do my hand in front of the
Mulligan.
camera.
Give me a mulligan.
Oh, that didn't happen. Oh, game over. That's what they're doing about Chip Kelly because they basically undid every move they made last year
Pretty
and had to restart.
much, yeah. Yeah.
You just don't know what to expect from the team this year, and that's fun. Not but so next year, if the draft is in Philadelphia, will you be eating a cheesesteak or two?
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Initially, my plan was to not stay Friday night and you know, to come back. But we'll see how I enjoy doing this one and how it goes. And so far, even though it's cold, I mean, legitimately, you guys had to go out and buy a jacket. It's cold. Um, but maybe I haven't been to Philly. I'd like to go to Philly.
Do you like the 3 day format? Because I remember one year
No, I miss the weekend thing. I was talking about that
we
earlier today. I miss it being Saturday and Sunday, and you had the weekend, and it was a weekend thing. And yes, no, I miss that.
I mean we literally, and I swear the draft started at 9 a.m. or noon on Saturday. I
Yeah.
can't remember what time. We went to my friend's house and we played poker all day and we bet on who the picks were going to be. And the Titans took Adam Jones, and my wife actually predicted that. And the
Oh yeah.
party ended when a friend of mine got a little sick and ended up yakking in a serving dish.
Oh
And that
wow,
was the
yeah.
last time we ever did something like that. We've had like a poker night Friday. It's so different now. It's actually funny. Like tomorrow night, I'm going to an event that's like for the awards for the best fiction books in like Georgia, and I didn't even like think twice about going. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna miss the draft. I'm like, you know what? I kind of want time to go forward and to be over, just because when you watch the draft, it's just there's there's nothing really happening. It's not that fun to watch live because it's just I don't know. Maybe it's different when you're actually there, but it's just
No,
so much
I
time.
enjoyed it when it was on the weekend, and it was it's so funny the Adam Jones thing, Patman Jones.
Batman.
I guess I haven't told you guys my story about that one. I'm happy to do that anytime, but yeah, I was devastated.
Oops, sorry. When they took Batman,
Yes. I was in Vegas that year. The thing about when the draft used to be the draft and it was on the weekend and you could really focus on it and enjoy it, and it was a fun thing. My family knew not to bother me. It was going to be the draft. It was draft weekend. So a girlfriend of mine wanted me to go to Vegas with her that weekend because her father was getting married. And I was like, okay, be the good friend, you should do this. She wants you to go with her and all of that. And so I was like, okay, but I will do it on one condition. I get to watch the Titans first selection. I get to do that. And then and time wise it worked out because of being in Vegas. And I think it was at 9 o'clock when the draft started. So she agreed to that, and it worked out because then we could get ready and go to the wedding and all of that because it was a daytime wedding. So anyway, so we're in the hotel room, and I haven't started getting ready yet. I've got my coffee, and we'd gone out the night before, and so I'm ready. And they had the number 6 overall selection, and I'm ready. I'm like, who are they going to take? And I thought it was going to be that other guy who wasn't all that good, the other defensive back.
was
But
it
anyway,
Antrell Roll because he was
yeah,
from Miami and
yeah,
he actually kept I think Larry Fitzgerald from scoring a touchdown or something in the game.
yeah. So
And he became a
anyway,
safety really quick. I don't know if he won. He
very
moved to
quickly.
corner.
So the pick is announced, and the camera cues to Pac-Man Jones. And there he is, pot smoke swirling around wherever the hell he is with all of his homies around and, all the pot smoke and everything. And I'm like devastated. I mean, like crying devastated, you guys. I mean, this is how much, I mean, I was such a huge fan then. And my girlfriend was like, we got to get ready and go to this wedding. You got to pull yourself together. And I'm like, I am like, upset. And so I get ready and we do the wedding thing and it's great. And we take them on a gondola ride. Dad divorces this one, by the way, like 6 months later because he was a bit of a pimp. He was a cat daddy. Like I think he got married 10 times. It was amazing.
Not that kind of cat.
So anyway, so like later on, we finally get to go, and I get to drink my sorrow away, and we start out at Margaritaville, Jimmy Buffett's place, and I'm sitting at the bar drinking something, probably a margarita, and I'm inconsolable. I'm so upset. I'm inconsolable. She's like, I can't believe she's like
To meet the super optimistic, youthful version of Titan fan Sharona. I think I caught you in the tail end of that when we met.
So
Man, in the 2000s, that must have been something. So,
yeah,
right.
so I turn around and I look at her and I said, the Titans are going to regret that pick. And
Yeah, just a little bit. I still have my Pac-Man jersey, so
yeah,
it was a bad era. I was looking because there was an article today about good and bad Titans drafts, and not surprisingly, the good drafts were around the time they moved to Nashville, and the bad drafts were
that was
like
when Floyd Reese was in charge.
the last few years they were there. In 2007, this is still amazing to me. The Titans drafted 3 wide receivers who finished their career with 8 combined NFL catches.
Brandon Jones, Jake somebody, and Courtney Roby.
The sad thing is, like, Roby actually signed with the Saints and was with them when they won the Super Bowl. Yeah. But obviously, it was just a kick returner.
Yeah.
But it was just, I remember because we do rookie drafts. I think it was one of our first ones, and it's like, oh, 3 Titan receivers. One of them has to hit, and there are probably
Brandon Jones got a big contract from the 49ers.
They're probably like
got hurt and never
20 receivers in the NFL who have made 8 catches in a game, and those 3 guys combined that for a career.
Again, Brandon Jones because he had actually a fairly decent career with the Titans, so it had to be.
We know
Courtney Roby, Jake, whatever his name was, and
we know the Titans, like, their drafting and like free agent wide receiver signings have been mostly disastrous. Carl, what's his name, Pickens, Yancey Thigpen, neither of whom played in the Super Bowl, but they paid them a lot of money.
Evans.
Yeah, like broke his knee to the point where he sued the team doctor or something. And I mean, Nate Washington has been the team's best like free agent wide receiver ever.
Yeah,
let's not call Delaney Walker a receiver. And they kind of, exclusively is. He was a good fit, but man, they've had some bad luck with that. So you're like, oh boy. They showed like Tyrone Calico, and it's like, oh my god.
Calico.
Anytime they show super athletic guys, they compare him to him.
He hurt his knee getting freaky deaky in the back of an SUV.
Yeah, he got busted or something. It was bad, yeah. But it's fun to see, and then to have Todd McShay and like Mel Kiper. Are they on the same broadcast? Because they hate each other. Like they only exist for the draft, and they just do not like each other. But it's tough because like the NFL Network and the ESPN, don't they both do it? And they have like 20 people talking, and it's just it's too much. And I kind of like day 3 because they don't end up talking about who's being drafted because the picks come so quickly, and they're talking about just random crap while the picks happen. And if you're covering the draft, you have to really pay attention because you might not see who gets picked because it just zooms by. But that's probably the fun day of them all. Although I'm thinking this weekend, my parents are going to be in town on Saturday, so maybe I can talk my dad into taking a nap and watching the draft. Since, unfortunately, my dad won my fantasy league, but he did leave it, and I have the trophy right here.
He did? Did Dad left fantasy?
He's out. He dropped the
Oh,
freaking mic. He won the championship and quit the league the next week.
that kind of makes me sad.
And by the way, he won with Blake Bortles and Tim Hightower. I mean, talk about the man who knew how to play the system.
Wow.
It worked pretty well for him, but yeah, it's
So why did Dad quit?
I think he just was done. I think there's a little bit of drama that happens, and he just doesn't want to deal with it. He's like, I don't want to deal with it anymore. And
Okay.
in a league that's been together since 2000, the fact that this is the first time a champion has left. We've had people leave, but they've never won because they suck. But yeah. Oh well, he did. Yeah, he won his third championship, which tied me because I won last year. But I've been in the league like 5 years longer, so I'm thinking he might have something over me.
I
I
think
hear
so.
fantasy skills skip a generation. That's just what I hear.
Sorry.
Rumors.
So Chewy's gonna be the next
No chewy soy, maybe.
toy. Oh, I'm
Although
sorry.
our
I'm
cats are
getting
having
cats
issues.
mixed up. Yeah. Oh no.
Yeah, they're having issues. We have them on a special diet. They apparently have some kind of bladder infection. So yay, cats!
No, Zach, I'm so sorry.
Special food uh and by the way, Soy, who comes off as all nice and friendly, becomes a vicious bastard when he's faced with a needle. So they took
Oh.
him to the vet and they basically like, all right, we're gonna test this one cat, and we're pretty sure the other cat is the same stuff. So let's do that. And that's what happened. Let's test the nice one. But yeah, our cats are on special medicine, and we're gonna have a floor replaced because they've decided to go somewhere that's not the litter box next to the last week.
Oh gosh, I'm so sorry.
Cats, they just they bring so much love, but then they take so much financially when it happens.
Shall I tell everyone what I messaged you about my cats?
Sure.
So my cat's Bandit, the shithead. Um, and he taught Iggy, the sweet little girl cat. So Bandit, I get no privacy, zero privacy whatsoever. I cannot even go potty by myself. And so
Yeah,
Bandit had
what's the
gotten
deal with like cats and you going to the bathroom? Like Soy will get in my lap, but if Allison goes up to go to the bathroom, he has to go. He has to see what's happening.
there's
I've
like
had cats jump on my lap while I was
curious.
on the toilet. I'm like, why, guys? Give me 5 minutes. They're like, I don't understand what you're doing here. Yeah, it's what's happening.
Yeah, no, they're so curious. And so Bandit had gotten to where he would sneak in behind me and claw me on the buttocks,
Oh
my
yeah.
blind side, while I'm trying to take care of business. So I told
Sorry, buddy.
yesterday I messaged Zach and I'm like, I can't lie. It's kind of cool to be able to go potty without having to protect my blind side. So yeah.
But
But
you're
but I
probably
hear
missing them.
well, I hear through the grapevine that they are missing me.
Hmm. Yeah, we haven't quite invested in one of those like home security cameras so we can kind of watch them while we're on vacation. But I'm sure that might happen one of these days because we have a beach trip scheduled in a couple of weeks. And I'm like, oh, we're gonna have to be away from them again. Last time they didn't do so
Aw.
well. We'll see. But we have not done this in a few weeks, so why not? A little over it or nah, not too serious version.
Okay.
Oh, over it or nah, Zach's collection of low booze sour beers.
No, never.
This one's pretty good actually.
No.
That's six. This 6.5.
I like our What's Brewing with Zach segment. I like seeing what you drink and what you like, and occasionally I'll try some of the stuff that you do, and so yeah.
She's willing to try. Over it or nah, letting CD Carter into a beer draft just so he can stack with Miller products.
Well, I'm not doing that, so nah, I mean, I'm not involved in that.
Hashtag beer mock, I think it is. Eric of Dynasty League Football, and I actually was talking to Mike, who had on our show a while back. The problem was I was like, let's do a beer draft. I'm like, well, how will we do the positions? Like, we're going to do different styles of beer, but there's like 50 styles of beer. How do you determine it? And basically, Eric was like, okay, we're going to do a 3-round beer draft, 32 people each round. Just pick anything. Don't worry about style. Don't worry about where you are. And I thought that's a good choice because there used to be, there was that show that Rum for Johnny and Ryan Forbes used to do, Two Mugs. And every year they did a beer mock draft, which is 3 rounds. And after the first year, I was like, get me in this draft. And that's kind of where I got to learn about some beers before drinking. And I'll share the link because I've done it a couple times because it's just a Google Doc now. I love technology. And it has all the beers. Cool. It has all the beers everybody's taking. And I insisted that he get CD Carter in there because I knew CD Carter lost his taste buds in a tragic accident as a child. So he likes Miller Lite, and he drank Miller High Life as his second pick, and I'm interested to see who he takes as his third. And actually, my third pick is up, and I knew like I could pick my 3 beers off the top, and I guarantee nobody will take them because everybody loves IPAs, and I'm not. The beers I like are not like nationally known stuff necessarily. So I have a lot of choices. I'm like, should I pick a local Atlanta beer? Should I just pick something I like? You know, it's tough. Actually, a beer I was going to send Jody Smith, Mr. Jody Smith, who I owe beer to, but I know he likes IPAs, so I took a beer out of his beer selection because it was an IPA, and I drank it on Sunday, and I really liked it. And I replaced it with a IPA that I guarantee he will like. And I'm going to do this. So this is going to be kind of part of my What's Brewing section is I'm going to do my first beer send. Jody actually sent me a YouTube video of how to pack and send beer. And you basically buy I bought like a prepaid thing from the US Postal Service, and you just pack your stuff up, and as much stuff as you can fit in there, they'll send for a set price. And I'm like, done. So I actually bought beers for him that were kind of 6 months old. I'm like, maybe I should just drink them and get him new beer. So that's kind of what I did. But that's what's going to happen. But anyway, yeah, beer mock is happening. And beers be sending across the country, which is good. I need extra space because our guest room is being used by my parents this weekend, and we had a bunch of crap in there, so that was nice. So yeah, I'm basically drinking beer so I can get rid of extra space in my closet.
Always a good excuse.
That's why I'm doing it. And we talked about kind of cellaring beers, and I had the first season of the Game of Thrones beer, like the one I have tonight. This is, I think, season 3. Although we're on season 6, and I think they've only had 4. I'm not sure how that works. But the first beer was called the Iron Throne. It was a golden ale with like lemon zest, and it was just a little too bitter for me. Like this saison I have, saison, because it sounds French, is like a dark beer, but it's a little bit bitter on the end, and that's like people like bitter beers. I don't really, but you know, it's not bad. It's pretty good. And plus, if I ever want to get that beer, that beer goblet that comes with the 2 bombers, that's one of the beers I get. So, you know, because apparently I owe Sharona one. One of these days I gotta meet up with Sharona and give her a beer goblet.
Well, I am hoping. That's right. I'm hoping to catch up on the premiere. Maybe tonight. I'll get a chance to sit down and watch the premiere of season 6. I hear there's not much killing.
Yeah, it's like less than 10 people, so it's pretty low for. I mean, it's tough. Sharona's like, "Hey, give me a spoiler-free review of Game of Thrones." I'm like, "Well,
people die. They had sex."
Yeah. I don't think any sex happened in the first episode, and only one person.
Well, now I'm disappointed.
It was a very set-up episode, like because it's spread out over so many places. They had to go to the 10 subplots that are going on and kind of just catch you up.
Ah, gotcha.
Well, they said they've already, you know, they talk about season 6 being the best season. They're talking about how they have the biggest battle is happening. So I'm like, I'm there. Sunday night, I'm all good.
I'm down for it.
I'll kick my parents out by then. You know? So you ready to cover? So what stories are you gonna be posting like about day 1 of the draft? Like what's happening at Pro Player Insiders?
Well, my article is going to be about the return to Chicago and Roger Goodell's remarks about what the future holds and you know the what to expect from the draft. Not much about Place 60 itself. Other people are going to be covering that, and then tomorrow I'll probably do some Place 60 stuff.
Yeah, I just wondered if you'd be doing I don't know. It seems like there's so many people covering the draft. It's like, how do you hit it from a different angle or something? I just hope you're able to meet up with Dexter's Library or some of the Chicago people.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Although, I mean, it starts at 8, right? Tomorrow. I mean, by the time it's done, you're probably gonna be like, I gotta do a story and go to sleep, right?
Well, I think that our draft crew is going out after the draft tomorrow night. So, but I'll be here Friday night.
You have a draft crew. I feel like I need to find a way to be like an intern or something so I can join the crew next year. It seems like where the draft is just would be a fun place to be, generally speaking.
Yeah, I mean it's fun and you see people. The weird thing is you're walking around and you see people, other people, that you don't know, but that cover sports and the draft and whatever. So, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, I remember watching it's that ESPN for 30 for 30 like on the 1983 draft. And
Yeah.
I miss the phones that were helmets. Like everybody as a kid wanted one of those, and I don't think they even sell them anymore because who has a home phone? But the fact that they did it like in a conference room of a hotel, and there might have been 20 guys covering it, and now there have to be thousands of people covering the draft,
Oh
right?
yeah.
And thousands. I mean, they're having it in some kind of giant hall in Chicago, so yeah, lots of people are going to be there. So it's the place to be, and of course, the place to be is where Sharona is, right?
That's right.
So what else do you have to share? Is Back Talk going to come back post draft?
Yes, it is. Next week. We will at least do one podcast next week, I promise.
You heard it here first. This is a promise.
I know I intended to last week and then, some stuff, stuff just happens. And I was trying to get ready and figure out if I was going to be able to actually make, the draft. I mean, we made it happen. And so it's all good. And so some of the things that I had been planning on writing are going to finish those and get those posted and stuff. And so I'm back. I'm definitely back. The worst part of all the busy stuff that I had been dealing with is pretty much over. So yeah, I'll be back into the swing of things.
And please, can you post a giant headline with as large type as possible saying, I told you so, Tom Brady is guilty.
Well, Sharona did tell you guys.
It's like you put that story out there, and then when Tom Brady like won his appeal, everybody was like, aha, in your face, aha. And then like it came back and everybody's like, wait, this is still a thing?
Yeah.
Like everybody's kind of on Tom Brady's side just because they're kind of bored. Like no one even cares what the case is anymore. No one cares
Well,
about any details. They're just
but
like,
it
I
is,
don't
but it's
care.
important, and and it goes beyond Tom Brady. The thing there was, I don't even, it was some pro Tom Brady thing. Somebody wrote saying the NFL should just drop this and focus only on domestic violence. I'm like, look, and I wanted to say, I just saw it and was like, roll eyes, keep it moving. I mean, the NFL is a multi-million, billion-dollar enterprise. I'm pretty sure they can focus on more than one thing.
You wish they could, but they have those months, so you only focus on one thing at a time. I don't know. They're gonna rule the world because just the announcement of the schedule, and we already knew who everybody was playing, was bigger news than the NBA, NHL playoffs. Like nobody cares. Like the Nashville Predators, the local team, are playing for Game 7 for their lives tonight at 10 p.m. I'm like, really? It's at 10? I mean, I know it's the West Coast. My parents are like, yeah, I'll find out tomorrow who won.
Yeah.
But someone gets a hangnail in the NFL. So what? The Josh Norman story, everybody just freaks out. So the fact that the NFL gets their weekend, it gets their prime time is great. And the fact that Sharona is part of it is just glorious. So get all over that. Just go to Sharona on Twitter. Sports by Sharona. Get there.
Get you some.
And you will know what's happening. And I will make my beer draft pick as soon as this is over. And I posted finally my story about visiting New York. It's just like I can write a blog post in 10 minutes, but posting pictures takes me like 2 hours. So I had to post all the pictures I took in New York, which weren't that many really, but it includes my trip to the Brooklyn Brewery and my Grimaldi's Pizza experience and 9/11 Museum and meeting Jen, which is so unfortunate. Like every time I tweet up, I never take pictures of the people. Like I took a picture of the bottle of the wine we drank. We drank a lot of that wine, but I didn't take a picture with her, which is very sad. But you can see her if you look on Twitter. She's there. But anyway, it was cool to meet and to finally post that. And I posted another beer article because I had to pick up a version of a beer that hadn't been produced in 16 years. It's a Belgian sour, and I hope to be drinking it this weekend, perhaps during the next Game of Thrones episode.
There you go.
But when you have bombers lined up, you're like, well, when's the special occasion? Well, Wednesday night, going for 2. That's the special occasion.
Special occasion.
I hope you have an extra suitcase to bring beer home with.
I really like this beer that I had tonight. Might actually go get another one.
I'm glad you had the good stuff. Well, thank you, Sharona, for being on, and we'll be back with a semi-normal show next week.
Yep.
Although I am thinking of bringing the Zach on back next week. Jen and I have been talking about doing a show about the HBO show Togetherness, which finally finished its 2nd season, and everybody's already forgotten what's happened because this show is over. But I think we'll talk about that and do a show. But I'm thinking, some kind of grilling, some kind of beering, some kind of non-football might happen sometime in the future. But thanks everybody for listening. Thanks everybody for watching, and to get the insider's view, what's happening in Chicago? It's cold. That's what it is.
It is.
And here in Atlanta, it's beer o'clock. So thanks everybody again, and good night, and kiss my grits.
Kiss my grits.